Good evening and welcome to EvilGinger Miniatures for a little continuation on the thing I was going to do yesterday but couldn't because I've managed to lose 300 odd of these. That, by the way, is 100. I have another 300 on the way, but I've seen them now, so I can cut, but they'll get used. Let's open these up. I will need 10. Now, I don't know how far I'm going to get with this because I have also discovered that I don't have any clip-on magnifying glasses that I can find. I went on to eBay to order some more, which I do about once a year or so, and I appear to be locked out of my eBay account. I wanted to order 3 because I've got several pairs of this sort of magnifying glass that I'm wearing now that could do with them, and they've gone AWOL. And I can't get into eBay, which is one of the reasons I hate having to start an account for everything. It is, shall we say, somewhat annoying. I've got a bit more room than I had in the bedroom. Also, I have a solid desk rather than a bendy piece of board, which dumps everything on the floor when you're playing with it. And we've got to get these the right way round, which is, by the way, shiny side up, because there is a slightly grippy side on these. Now this is what I'm going to be assembling if I can, because as I say, I may or may not be able to see properly well enough to do it. I've improved the lighting in here by getting one of these set up. Not sure whether it's going to live there, but it's an uplighter, so I've got a lot more direct light on the desk. These are War Games Atlantic World War I British Infantry, which I will be using for my Forbidden Palm heroes. Also, haven't got my file up here, so I'm going to have to be trimming everything with a knife. First stage is to stick all the bodies to the bases. I've got 10. I probably need more of them. And I won't be able to finish assembling these. It's just a question of just making a start and seeing how I can do. So that's not too bad on the bottom of the base. Look, those little pimples where the was attachment aren't actually raised points. They're just marks where the fracture occurred. Standard army painter plastic glue. Again, it's worth just letting these go off before you do the next stage. And that usually takes a little while, so I might not do all of them while they're on there. I've also got to assemble, as well as these 10 one figures, I have also got some orc archers to assemble. So I might make a start on those as well. This one's got a little bit of a rough edge on it. Ideally, I'd file these, but it's just a question of scraping. Shiny side up as always. And again, they're just marks, so it's gluing. This one here has got a little bit of a bump on one of those. Should have scraped off beforehand. And that's the first frame done. I've taken all the bodies out of it. Second frame, and I'll probably need another one of these to get myself the 12 models I will need for the infantry section from the 1914 group. Infantry second officer and a senior sergeant. Trim these off. Repeating with the second sprue what I did with the first. I find knives so much easier to use than clippers, and also knives don't, I find, impart quite the velocity to parts which a knife can, which a set of clippers can do. And the knives are also less likely to shatter delicate pieces when you're cutting them off the sprue, because there's less percussive force when you bang the bits together. As I say, those will need a little bit to go off, and then I can go around and clean them up and put the arms on. As these are for a 1914, I won't be putting the gas mask cases on, and I should be keeping stuff as simple as possible when it comes to secondary gear. They're all over here at the moment. If I had a swingy, rather than a fixed, rather than a fixed point of view camera, I would turn the camera to show you just off this side here. I've got a little pile of models now. I'm going to put those slightly to one side while they go off. And I will get another 10 of these out and start assembling the goblins. As I say, this isn't going to be all done in one shot, because some drying will need to be done. And I will probably, it's still being fairly warm, be up most of the night doing this. Because again, you wait for the air to clear, you let the stuff glue. And these, by the way, are recyclable. In fact, hard polystyrene is probably one of the most recyclable things you can get. Orc archers, who will be going as hobgoblin archers, treated in the same way, except these are a little bit easier to see what you're doing. And then when I finish this, I'm going to be attempting to order some clip-on glasses so I can actually see what I'm doing for the rest of the operation. And we'll see if eBay will let me do that. These are rather easier to get off the sprue than the War Games Atlantic, but they're equally nice sculpts. Still easier, and I've still got to work out the ideal camera for this setup. I think I'm probably going to end up with something like a webcam, so that I can actually point it at things. It's not ideal building things in the works office, but it's not ideal building things in the workshop at the moment, because the workshop at the moment is an absolute tip. But I'm addressing that. I'll plan to address that fairly shortly. But it's one of the nice side effects of depression, at least in my case, that everything becomes too much. I could disappear off downstairs and get a file. But again, I'll be off camera for several minutes while I went. Not exactly been with it today, as I went on a little bit of a walk with my delightful friend and his even more delightful little doggy, and then I went to go and get some stuff in town and failed because I got on the wrong. Well, I got on a bus and I didn't realise this particular bus stopped at the other end of town and then left it until after it had left town. And it was hot. Whilst it's not as stinking hot as it has been, I'd had enough by that point. I'd had a good hour and a half's walk with a rather energetic young doggo and a friend who I hadn't seen for a bit, and we'd had a bit of a chat and a sit down at a cafe and a chat. And basically, I pretty much run out of spoons for the day, so and I'd already planned to use a lot of spoons that I'd now burnt doing this thing. And prior to doing this, I remembered I had to order some clip-on glasses from eBay, and then I got in a fight with eBay, who have now decided that I've tried to get into my account too much, and I'm obviously some sort of criminal. So I've got to work out. I've got to wait till tomorrow before I order anything on eBay, and hopefully everything will reset. I'll try and remember how I got it to order. I ordered as a guest last time, because there's nothing that mixes worse with dyslexia than having to create a sodding account for everything and try and remember the passwords, or having your computer remember the passwords, which obviously is less secure and rather defeats the objects of having a secure password. And also then deciding, if you try and do it more than 3 times, to reset your password so you can get in, that you're obviously a hacker and therefore suspending your account. So again, this is another wait till tomorrow, when I may or may not have the spoons to do it, and try again. Again, this one's got a little bump on the bottom. I don't know whether you can see that or not. Again, filing would work, but so does gently scraping the bloody thing with a knife. But all in all, things are looking up and coming along. And we hope they keep that way. Sharp, this knife. some more of these because there are 15 of them. Oops. When I've got these stuck down to the base, I shall almost certainly leave that up there for now, because they will need a few hours to get, well, I'll give them a hour or so to go off, and then I shall finish assembling them off camera so you can see photographs of them tomorrow. Again, I'm trying to get my routine back on, so I actually post stuff every day. I actually put stuff up on YouTube at least weekly, so that so there we have it. 10 figure stacked bases, 10 British infantry, and 15 orcs. Oh, and while I'm about it, that is the Reaper order. And there would have been more of it, except I had to spend nearly £200 on shipping. And that would have been another nearly 400 quid's worth of paint. I've also got a whole box of these orcs in here, but they're going to be done as spearmen. And I'm waiting for another sprue from which I'm going to do a character figure out of. But it's not, but they were on back order, so I didn't get it. So I'm going to call it there for this evening. I hope you enjoyed my little chat, my starting to build my World War I squad, and building a group of orc archers who will be hobgoblins, who will be providing part of the Op4. The rest of the Op4 are there, or these ones that I've already painted in here. These ones from yesterday. Yeah, that's the musician for the archers. That's the 16th archer. And that's the archer captain. And there will be 32 spearmen, which is 4 mobs, which is plenty enough for Forbidden Ruin, and I'll have to stack up the cavalry and things like that. Anyway, that's enough of me for now. I will speak to you all tomorrow, probably, but I'll definitely be up on the internet, posting pictures of the stuff I've done now and showing you where I've got to, and hopefully getting the old mojo back going, so I can start finishing off all the huge backlog of things that I promised people before I had a nervous breakdown. Take care, everybody, and have a great time, and stay hydrated.